Hello again, and welcome to the Animation Commentator, where I talk about all things animation, or some things, anyway. This video is like really late in the making, and I just want to apologize about that. Like I've said in my previous videos, I do have my own job and a real world life job and all that kind of stuff, so it's not like I can just come on here every day like some people do. So if you're here watching this is the part 2 of the commentary that I said I would deliver. So this is basically The Incredibles 2 commentary part 2, except this time I'm not giving a review about the movie. I'll be taking a certain aspect of the movie and applying it to the animation industry. So, here we go. So first I'll just iterate what the story, the overall arc of The Incredibles is about. And then I'm going to turn it around and apply it to hand animation. So, without further ado, here we go. So, during the golden age of heroes, there were obviously superheroes, and everybody who wasn't a villain loved the superheroes. They did all kinds of crime fighting. They used their superhuman abilities to wow the world with their awesome powers. And then one day, people just got tired of the supers. Whether it was Oliver Sandsweet falling off the skyscraper and having his suicide prevented by a superhero, whether it was because of that, or people wrongfully putting the blame on superheroes because of the actions of the supervillains, superheroes just got out of fad. They became unpopular. So the superheroes were shelved, legally speaking. Of course, you had some heroes still doing moonlighting superhero work. But basically, the superheroes, for all intents and purposes, were no longer officially recognized as in existence. So then you fast forward 15 years and a few months. The Incredibles come out of hiding to fight Syndrome and the Omnidroid. And then along comes the Underminer. And the Incredibles pretty much take care of the Underminer, and then he gets away. His big bad tank is taken down. That drill thing is defeated, but the Underminer gets away. Spoilers to whoever has not seen The Incredibles 2 by now. I don't think I should say that, but hey, it's a crazy world. But then Winston Dever comes along. And he genuinely wants to help the superheroes. And he wants to help make things right. So, he recruits Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl and Frozone. And he gets them into this secret meeting up in his big tower. And he basically goes into this dialogue, which is, we need to change people's perception of superheroes. And that's where I want to kind of play on this for the hand animation part. Because decades and decades, hand animation was popular. It wowed the world. People loved hand animation. And then you had studios, most notably Disney, making horrible stories with the hand animation. And then it was like, never mind the incredible good stories that came from hand animation in the past. All of a sudden now, people were like, we don't like hand animation. Not because of the hand animation itself, by the way, but because of the bad stories. And at the same time, CGI, New Kid on the Block, people look at that and go, Oh, that's just the best thing since sliced bread in animation. Let's just go with CGI, which looks incredibly a lot like live action, by the way. Even Pixar CGI is looking a lot like me. I mean, I don't see a whole lot of difference between CGI characters and me anymore. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so people see that, and they see how terrible the stories are with hand animation, so hand animation gets shelved because of the bad stories, and because of the new Kid on the Block CGI. So, now I come forward, not as a millionaire or billionaire or anything like that. I'm just an animation enthusiast. And I say we need to change people's perceptions of hand animation. Because people now are thinking, oh, hand animation, that's kid stuff. Sorry, dude. Some of the best adult-oriented works were done in hand animation. Watch The Hunchback of Notre Dame for once. That's not exactly a movie that you would call a kid movie. That is very filled with the darker adult themes. Like, you know, you have the forget the main villain's name in that for Hunchback of Notre Dame, but he's definitely I think he was like the head of the law enforcement or something, but he's like so conflicted between keeping his duties, his perceived duties of trying to wipe out all the gypsies, and yet having this burning lust in his heart for the gypsy girl, Esmeralda. On fire, hellfire. I mean, that's just so moving. A hand-animated movie, so moving like that. And you don't see that in CGI. I mean, not even with Frozen. I mean, I don't get the same feelings with Frozen, which, like I said, looks a whole lot like live action. I don't get the same kind of feeling for that like I do watching the villain from Hunchback of Notre Dame wrestling with his soul and being surrounded by the red-cloaked demons in his mind and wrestling with the fire. I mean, just... Anyway, point is, yes, a lot of hand-animated films, most hand-animated films are supposed to be kid-friendly films, but hand animation can be easily used to target to adults. So don't give me the stupid excuse that, oh, hand animation, that's a kid thing. I mean, so what? We're supposed to cater to adults all the time? Is that what this is all about? I thought we were supposed to be a somewhat of a kid-friendly society. I mean, I get it. You need some adult thrills. I get that, but don't take away our love of hand animation just because people perceive this as a kid-friendly thing only. And that's part of the thing. So we need to change the perception. It doesn't have to just cater to kids. It can cater to adults as well. What you need to do is get some good scripts involving high action explosions or whatever, give it a good storyline, and put hand animation on it. That's what we need to do. I mean, and when I say hand animation, I am talking about animals and people, maybe even plants. If you want to do CGI for like background props or machines or something like that, I mean, they did that for the Iron Giant, by the way. So the Iron Giant, they did the robot himself was actually a CGI character, but he looks so convincingly two-dimensional. He looks so convincingly cartoony that you wouldn't even know he was CGI unless someone told you he was CGI. But anyway, we just need the kinds of movies that are being done in live action that adults like. We need some of them being made into hand animation so that people can see, oh, okay, this is actually pretty cool. This isn't just a kid thing. This can be for adults. So that's a big way to change people's perception. And by the way, so in my very first video, if you've seen it, I mentioned that one project that is Disney-esque in animation is Dogtown. Dogtown, from what the previews I've seen of Dogtown, the snippets and all that, as this movie is still being made, it is very much an adult movie. I mean, it's got all the themes that adults are looking for. It's got blood and gore. It's got a criminal enterprise associated with this. You've got women dancing around to entertain men. I mean, not that I support that, by the way, but that is part of the movie. So you have that going on. That is going to be a very adult-oriented film to change people's perceptions of hand animation. And when I say hand animation, once again, I can't leave out the fact that anime is very much thriving, but I don't want just anime. And personally, I'm not even a fan of anime, but I recognize the people out there who love anime. I want classic Disney hand animation being used in movies that adults would find attractive. That's what has to happen in order to bring back hand animation to its former glory, just like the superheroes from The Incredibles 2. The superheroes had to fight past their legal obstacles. Well, hand animation has to fight past the CGI obstacle and the perception that people have about Disney hand animation and get this back to its former glory. And when I say Disney hand animation, I am not counting the crap in the TV shows that Disney has been doing lately. I mean, you see the new DuckTales show or the new Star versus the Forces of Evil show. That's not the Disney animation I know. The Disney animation I know is like from like Basil or The Great Mouse Detective or movies like that. Not this crummy looking animation that Disney's trying to pass off as Disney animation. I don't buy that. I just don't buy that. Anyway, moral of the story, we have to change people's perceptions of hand animation. And I wish all of you, 10, 20, 30, 50 of you watching this video, I wish you all a God bless evening. Goodbye.